Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Mirianny Beltre Bobea y voy a la escuela de Sleepy Hollow. Y hoy voy a hablar de un tema muy importante para mí. Bueno, mi tema se llama de From Hello K to Whassup. Bueno, para comenzar, sé que muchos de ustedes no me entienden ahora mismo, así que voy a hablar a un idioma de que ustedes sí me entienden. Hi, my name is Mirianny, and I am a student at Sleepy Hollow High School. And I come here to talk about a topic that is very important for me to discuss. And before we even start, from the beginning, when I studied in Spanish, do you guys understand that it was Spanish? I know many of you recognize it was Spanish, but to those who don't speak Spanish, do you recognize it was Spanish or do you hear gibberish? Because that was me back in 3rd grade when I was 8 years old. I came to the United States, and I came here without knowing a word of English. It was a new culture, a new language, new people, new town. It was new, everything was new. And so it was hard for me to adapt because I did not know a word of English. And in 3rd grade, because I did not know a word of English, there was moments where I felt excluded, I felt different, I felt unwelcome in some situations. I even felt confused and uninformed because I did not speak a word of English. But after 4 long years, I finally embraced the language. I learned the language. I embraced the people. I embraced the culture. I embraced everything about it, and I finally learned the language. But before I did that, I noticed that not a lot of people had the same opportunities as I did. Not a lot of people had the moment that I did to thrive. And it could be because of different factors, such as they didn't have access to English classes. For example, my mom, she tried her best to learn the language, but because she didn't have time and she worked from a 9-to-5 job, my hard-working mother, I'm so proud of her, she did not have time to embrace the language. She wanted to, but she couldn't, and that is one factor. The access, no access to classes, the time, and also because there was no necessity. For example, for my mom, I am Dominican. I live in a Dominican household, and what my household do is that they surround themselves with people who speak their own language. They surround themselves with Ecuadorians, Dominicans, Colombians. They surround themselves with people that speak Spanish. So when you surround themselves with your own people, with your own Hispanic community, there's not really a necessity for you to learn the language because you don't have to. You go to the store, you speak Spanish. You go to a hospital, you speak Spanish. You go to school, you speak Spanish. You surround yourself to a community that sounds familiar, that feels familiar to you. And so sometimes there's no necessity for you to learn the language. Or it could be the age. My mom, my Dominican mom, she says that whatever comes through this ear comes out of this ear. If you know, you know. Yeah, she said that she's too old to learn the language, that she doesn't have time to learn. So that could be one of the factors. But I also taken the time to acknowledge that because they don't have time to learn the language, because they can't speak English, does that mean that they can be part of this community? Does that mean that because they can communicate with other people, they can be part of this community? Because I know I am part of this community. I embrace the language for this moment. I embrace the culture, and I am part of this community, and I'll bring them with me, even if they don't know the language. I'll bring them with me. But before I do that, I also want to take the time to acknowledge the things that they go through, the things that I go through because I did not speak the language. And it could be things that, for example, back in 3rd grade when I did not know a word, there was an event going on in school. It was called Color Wars. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, where each classroom is designed a color. The color that was designed to my classroom, it was a pink color. And because I did not know a word of English, I did not know there was an event happening. I did not know a color was designed. I did not even know the day of the event. So the day of the event, when I came, you know with what color I came? With the bright purple color I came. I still remember that. So the whole classroom, they were all pink while I was a bright purple color. And I was only 8 years old. How do you think that made me feel? Well, that made me feel so excluded. It made me feel isolated. It made me feel like I didn't belong. I felt different. I was a child, and everybody was wearing the same thing but me. And so I wanted to take that moment to reflect that back then I could have gotten angry. I could have felt resentful. I could have not cared at all. I could have even withdrawn from the situation. But instead, I did not withdraw. I actually cared enough for me to find my way into the community, into the language, into the culture. I find my way in. I embraced the language because I was not going to let that moment bring me down. And I finally learned to feel empowered. After a part of me was Dominican and a part of me was American, I feel empowered with my story, my perspective, to share with others, to bring others into the community that felt the same way that I did. I feel empowered enough to not only share my story, but to make a difference, to make everyone feel included, no matter the language that they speak, no matter that. And before I do that, I also want to take the time to also talk about the things that they feel, the things that they experience in this community because they don't know the word. For example, like I said, they feel uninformed. They get excluded from events because they don't know what's going on. They don't know the language. They also experience lack of access. They experience lack of information, like I said. And they also experience language barrier and challenges that just impact them not only mentally but physically because they are unable to participate. And that can lead to miscommunication. And so I also wanted to add that how can we fix this problem? How can we make a change? How can we acknowledge it and make it different? Today, I've noticed that in my school environment, what they do is that in my school, they do Spirit Week. And so each grade has one common goal, and that is to win. In Spirit Week, everybody wants to win. And I've noticed that there's different friend groups that only speak English, and there's a different friend group that only speaks Spanish. And what they do, because they all want to win, they interact with one another. They find a way to communicate. They find a way to win together. I found that in my school, and that's why I get so emotional every time Spirit Week comes, because it's just seeing every friend group interact with one another, no matter the language barrier. And what schools can also do is have different activities. They can have announcements in Spanish. They can also have books in Spanish or any other language that can show the culture, so that when anybody comes in, they can see that they are actually being represented. And so also what Sleepy Hollow do is that they give community service hours to those students that are willing to participate in translating for orientations, for parent orientations. So students can come to school, get office hours, and translate. And that is what the school do. That's in our school environment. But in town, I've noticed that there is a Facebook Hispanic group, which I did not know of. There's an Hispanic group that they share information, they share events, they share, like we see, they invite people. And I did not know that there was a Facebook group. And this just proved how everybody just wants to be included. Parents just want to feel like, hey, this is what's going on in my town. I want to be heard. I want to be listened. I want to be included. And I've also noticed that when I participate in blood drive, there's only specific type of people that attend. There's specific type of people that attend city councils, that attend blood drive, that attend school events or activities. There's only one specific group of people that attend. Why? We can all be together. We can all include, no matter where you come from, no matter your story, your perspective. And now I've also noticed that obviously times are changing. What I mean is that 50 years ago, 60 years ago, this is what I imagine when there's a language barrier, and this person only speaks English and this person only speaks Spanish. Okay, imagine, active your imagination, right? This person only speaks English, this person only speaks Spanish. This is what I think. Hi, how are you? Oh, ella está preguntando, hola, ¿cómo está? Oh, I'm very good, I'm very good. I need help, I can't find something. Oh, this person is asking, you see, it's so complicated. That's what my mind thinks about when I think about translating 50 years ago. It's so complicated, at least for me. But now, because times are changing, we have this tool called a phone. With this tool, we can translate, we can use Siri to share information, to invite people to an event. We can use this phone to open doors and make everybody feel included and give feedback and give help. Only this tool. Why? Because times are changing and we have technology as our advantage. And that can be one of the tools. My mom uses all the time to use Facebook. What's it called? I also want to end this with saying that this is a community. People is what makes a community. Without the people, there is no community. So it is up to your will and your courage to go up to a person, no matter the language barrier, and connect with them. Connect with them. We are the future. We are what's going to make a difference. Don't be afraid. And I'm here not only to represent the Hispanic and share about their problems. I'm here to represent those individuals that feel excluded, that feel like they don't belong because of their disability, because of where they come from. I'm here to make a difference. Thank you.